this Minnesota game versus the Chargers, because obviously Pat being a Minnesota fan, my son being a Minnesota fan, got a lot of family that is. So we had that game on one of the TVs for the YouTube. But in this game, each coach were trying to hold my beer each other in a moment where in the fourth quarter, which we already know that Brandon Staley's on the hot seat, right? We feel like that. Like they should be much better than they are. Would you agree? Right? So having them play in Minnesota, they're both 0-3. Something's got to give. In the fourth quarter with, 3 minutes to go, about 3 minutes to go, 2:58 and two timeouts.
It was like 2:40.
They were at the 6-yard line. Instead of kicking a field goal, Minnesota, and going down 28-27, they decided to go for it. They don't get it. Okay? So they're down 4. They still have to get a stop. Here comes Brandon Staley going, hey, we're at the 50-yard line. It's 4th and 1. Instead of punting it back, we're going to go for it. They don't get it. They don't get it. But because Minnesota didn't kick the field goal, they get down there, they waste time. They have to wait on Kirk Cousins to make some play from the 7-yard line with basically no time on the clock in the end zone to try to win the game when you could have just kicked the field goal to win it if you'd have kicked the field goal earlier. Like, quit trying to outcoach one another. Just make the right call. Make the right play. What's the dumbest call you could do? That's what they decided to do. Like, both of them on both spots. Kevin O'Connell, but specifically Brandon Staley. Like, you're lucky you came out with that with a victory. You should have not doing what you were doing. And he continues to do it week in and week out. We talked about it. As soon I was like, well, they're going to go for it. Because remember, he doesn't punt.
Right. And
he's going to go for it.
I think you said 50-yard line or something. It was like the 25. It was even worse than that. So, like, yeah, but he was just like, obviously he's thinking they get the first down, they win the game, but they turn the ball over to the Vikings in basically not quite the red zone, but, like the 25, something like that. And then they win the game because of a tip interception, basically, a catch. There's a lot of luck in these types of games, especially when you go against the Vikings. I think now it's something like in the last 3 seasons, mind you, we're 3 games into this season. In the last 3 seasons, the Vikings have 28 one-score games, right? And so we all know they went 11-0 last year, but before that, they were 6-8 in one-score games. Now they're 0-3. And it comes down to a lot of these like tip balls, right? Like the tip ball interception and a tip ball touchdown at the end of the game that won the game for the Chargers. Yeah, it was an ugly game all around for the players, for the coaches.
Of course, I didn't think the Chargers were going to pull this off because I think the Chargers, honestly, they have so much talent that I think the coach is in over his head. I really do think Staley's in over his head.